Government subsidies for real estate investors are unfair to the average homeowner.
One government subsidy would be the neighborhood we own over in South Pittsburgh. That neighborhood was built using USDA money. I'm sure the investors put some money in it, but USDA came in and, $4 or $5 million into the construction. And what they did was they told them, hey, we want you to rent this property out for income-based properties for 15 years. With that, you're going to rent for the rent that we tell you you're going to rent for. So the government's going to control it, kind of like rent control we talked about earlier. The government is also going to control the fact that you're going to pay part of the utilities too. So the government subsidy is they help you get a neighborhood that you would not be able to get typically. But then for 15 years, you're going to pay for all of the maintenance in that neighborhood. You're going to pay for the property management fees in that neighborhood. You're going to pay to try and find new renters for that neighborhood. You're going to maintain the renters that are there. You're going to do everything that needs to be done to keep that property in good standing. Through that, you're going to make minimal cash flow. You're not going to make anything at all, a little bit of a notch above a break-even point. But you don't have a lot of investment either. So on your investment is good. But what the government has done is the government has turned the management of that over to you, and you manage it. And it is a pain in the behind. I can tell you that from experience. It is an absolute pain in the behind. Would I go out and do that on my own right now with a brand new neighborhood? No way in the world. I wouldn't. It's not, the juice is not worth the squeeze to me in that area at all.
At least until after 15 years.
Yeah, after the 15 years, you can get out of the program and you can go and rent it as a regular rental. What does the government do good? Take your money. That's what they do good. They good money. They do great taking your money and giving it to somebody else. So they're taking money from the American taxpayers and giving it to it. How are housing projects ran and managed? You go to the normal housing project and they are a shithole, right? Normal. And that's because the government is in charge of running them. And the government employees, they just do their job. If I'm running my neighborhood is perfect in every way that I can make it perfect because that's my neighborhood. That is where I make my living. That is what supports me. I take care of it because it's part of me. And I do my best to make sure that the renters are part of it and everybody has buy-in that we're going to do the absolute best that we possibly can do. So I guess let me answer your question first. Where do I feel about that right there? Do I agree with subsidies being bad on the people? I'm going to use the disagree. I strongly disagree on that I don't think that it's hurting the American people, the subsidies. It's providing housing that the government cannot provide. And I think that's necessary because it's just the way it is. One subsidy that we get also as investors is we get depreciation. So depreciation is just another way to save a little bit of money on taxes that we would normally have to pay. And if we're barely breaking even, I mean, we use depreciation in all of our numbers and we still can't achieve a 5% return using that depreciation. It really isn't that much money, but it's a little bit. And investors need a little bit of help to get through it. And that's the way it's done. How much of the investment properties out there is owned by major corporations like BlackRock and people like that?
It's like 7%.
Yeah, like 7% of the market is owned by people like that. The majority of the market out there is owned by individual people that probably have somewhere between a $5 million net worth and under. And everybody might look at that and say, $5 million? It's like, well, you're taking $5 million, but you got to look at what's in it. I mean, they still got notes on everything. I mean, those people with the heck, we're saying we got 50 million in real estate, right? And I just got done saying a little while ago, we barely break even most of the time because we're constantly building, we're constantly doing what we're doing. We got 50 houses we got to put roofs on right now. What's that going to cost? We got all this stuff that we got to do, and it's just not an option. You got to do it, and it takes a lot of money to make it all roll, and that's what people don't see. I mean, you can see handing me a check for $1,500 every month for my rent and say, man, he's getting rich. But you just don't see the back part of that right there, the back office part of it where that money's coming in through your hand but going right out through the other one. It's just like you paying your bills at your house. You're making $7,000 a month. So you make $7,000 a month, but you spend $7,200 by the time you buy groceries and everything else. You're still running negative right now. I mean, inflation's killing us. Everybody says inflation's going down. I don't see it. I mean, I understand they're saying that inflation is 3%, 2.5%, whatever it is right now. That's why they're going to drop interest rates. Have you seen anything like that in the market that you go in? I mean, you can't even cook. You go to the store and buy a can of corn, and now where it used to be able to buy one can of corn that was 16 ounces and you could make a meal out of that, now you got to buy 2 cans of corn that are 10 ounces to feed your family.